Welcome to Beyond the Mask, where we dig into the stories, strategies, and conversations that are helping CRNAs lead the way in the OR, in business, and in life. Today, our guest will be one that you are all familiar with, my co-host, Jeremy Stanley. We're shifting gears a bit to talk about something that affects all of us, not just as professionals, but as individuals and families managing our hard-earned wealth. The digital landscape has changed dramatically, and unfortunately, scammers have evolved right along with it. They're smarter, faster, and more sophisticated than ever before. And the truth is, even the most financially savvy amongst us can fall victim if we're not prepared. Trust me, Jeremy has stories about this. In today's episode, we're breaking down insights from a recent Hartford Funds article. Scammers are smarter than ever, how to protect your identity and your wealth. We'll explore the emotional tricks that scammers use, the red flags you can't afford to ignore, and the smart tech tools that can help protect you and your family and your financial future that you have worked so hard for. This isn't just theory, unfortunately. These are practical, real-world strategies CRNAs can put into action right now. So whether you're driving to your next shift, out for a run, or sipping your morning coffee, stick with us. You won't want to miss this.
CRNA Financial Planning is a sponsor of Beyond the Mask podcast. Investment advice offered through Private Advisor Group. Nothing in this podcast should be construed as investment advice. Plus, did you know listening to our podcast can earn you Class B credits? For details on how to submit, visit the CE credit section at beyondthemaskpodcast.com. Welcome to Beyond the Mask, innovation and opportunities for CRNAs and advanced practice nurses, with certified financial planner Jeremy Stanley and CRNA Sharon Pierce. Jeremy Stanley has worked with CRNAs for more than 23 years, and Sharon Pierce is a former president of the AANA and the NCANA. Join us as we leave the operating room and learn the latest in the CRNA and advanced practice nurse industries. Beyond the Mask starts in 10, 9, 8, 7.
So, Jeremy, welcome to the podcast. It's really nice having you on.
Well, thank you, Sharon. It was great to be here. And today we are actually doing video. This is kind of a new thing for us. People are going to see it more and more. So we're excited about that. You know, we're always trying to make sure we're jazzing it up and keeping up with technology. And I'm excited about this one today.
Well, as you say, the sizzle. We're trying to keep the sizzle.
Trying to keep the sizzle. That's right. 400 and some episodes in, and we're still sizzling. I mean, that's pretty good, right?
There you go. There you go.
So we kind of titled today after an article that I read, Scammers Are Smarter Than Ever, and how can CRNAs protect their families, their identity, and their wealth? And Sharon, I'm going to talk about some stories today, but I have been contacted by more clients this year who have gotten caught up in some sort of scam than I ever have in the history of my career. It's crazy. And this fraud, I mean, it's so hard to spot. I mean, smart people getting taken advantage of. We're going to talk about some of those red flags and maybe some ways you can use technological tools that will help you and your loved ones, because it's not just for that, for that 35-year-old CRNA. A 35-year-old CRNA out there has a parent who's 55 or 60 or 65 that really needs to know this stuff as well. We're going to be talking about why is it so easy to get scammed these days? How do we recognize some of these red flags and maybe some action steps that people can take?
Well, you need to know, again, like you said, not just for you, but your parents. For instance, I work with a physician and they found out that his father, who's a lonely widower, has been sending money to a girlfriend in Ukraine. And I'm talking thousands and thousands of dollars. And who knows if it's really a female from Ukraine or some 21-year-old male who's posing as a female from Ukraine to get money. And they are having a terrible time because his father really believes that it's a girlfriend from Ukraine.
Yeah, and I mean, I've heard several stories like that where, folks that are older, maybe lonely, they want to believe that people like them or love them. And it kind of can start that way. I mean, we've got to really acknowledge something, and that is the scammers today, they have a huge advantage. And the advantage is the digital age has given them much more tools, much more openings to do this. And our personal information, I don't know about you, but I get letters in the mail and emails. Oh, there's been a data breach. We're going to give you 12 months of free data monitoring or credit monitoring. I bet I've gotten 10 of those already this year. Social media. People can stalk you on your social media, online accounts. I mean, all these things that we have to put credentials in and our information is out there on the web. I mean, it just makes it extremely dangerous. And these guys are good at what they do. I'm going to tell you a story in a little while that just blew me away. And now with AI, Sharon, have you seen the AI that can mimic your voice?
Did you see this week on the news, Robin Williams' daughter came out and they are putting AI videos together of Robin Williams and they look so real. And she's begging the public, please quit putting these videos out of my father. Can you, how awful that would be?
Yeah, it's horrible.
They played it on the news and somebody like me couldn't tell. Somebody knows how to tell. They say it's blurred around the edges, which, we're putting blurring around our edges right now. So
Right. Right.
let's move on and let's talk about those red flags that we need to be looking for.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many of them. I mean, there's warning signs if we pay attention to them. And what can you do? I mean, you've got these scare tactics that people have out there, and they're disguised as, tech or security alerts. Maybe you'll get a pop-up on your computer saying, your computer is infected, call this
Right.
number. And I've had several more seasoned clients that have gotten this. For some reason, their virus protection didn't pick it up. Or another message saying your social security number is suspended. I've seen that one happen as well. But, real organizations don't send these urgent demands. I mean, we really have to sit back and say, all right, we're logical creatures. Most CRNAs, I'm a logical creature.
You're more logical than almost everybody I know.
Sometimes to a fault, actually.
That would be yes.
But, I mean, the Social Security Administration, for an example, I mean, they're going to send you a letter. They're not going to send you an email.
I've gotten one of those emails that said, your account, you need to take a look at it. It's been updated for what you're qualified for. I don't click any of that stuff. If I think that it's real, I'll go to my Social Security account and I'll log in separately. I don't use any links.
And that's the right thing to do. I mean, so Sharon, you just said one of the things that we tell our clients. First thing, close or ignore that pop-up. I mean, don't call a number. Don't start talking to these people. They are very, very good. I mean, if they talk to you, they've probably called and or tried to talk to 1,000 people that day. And when they get on the phone with someone, they've done it so much. It's just like having a conversation with a friend. And to your point, reach out to the institution that supposedly sent you this information, and make sure that you're using a verified phone number or website, and this is going to bring me to one story here, just because I feel like this is the perfect time to talk about it. I mean, very, very, very bright client. I mean, their IQ is off the charts, super smart. Wakes up one morning, goes into his account, looks something weird in his bank account, then gets an email that says your bank account has been, and it was a well-known institution, big, large bank, I'm not going to name it. your account has been violated or something. We need you to call this number. He calls the number. The person answers the phone just like, they would at this particular bank. He says, hey, I'm this person. I received the notice. I'm calling about it. And they go, oh, okay. Well, we have to remote into your computer.
Oh, no.
He thought he was calling the right people. So they remoted in. Evidently, when they did it, they put some sort of download on the computer. He did not know that it was there. And they're like, yes, we've been seeing a lot of these. We'll monitor your account in the background here. At the moment, we don't see anything. Gets up the next morning because he's worried about it. Checks his account. And he had, a little over $150,000, $200,000 in his money market account at this particular bank. Gets up the next morning and the bank account shows that $30,000 is being transferred out. So he calls the same guy. This guy says, yes, we see that $30,000 going out. We need to get the federal government involved in this. So he calls up someone pretending to be a federal government employee, gives this particular client their badge number. Everything seems to be on the up and up. They're concurring with my client and basically say, you've got to move that money out of the account, the 30,000. That's the only way that this will stop. He's like, well, what do I do? Do I put it over in another account? Do I open a new account? They're like, well, if you do that, unfortunately, if it's the same institution, they're going to reach in there, they're going to pull it out because this money's got to come out from somewhere. So what do I do? And they said, well, the only thing you can do is you can go pull the money out in cash and redeposit it in another account, not at this institution. And the safest way for you to do this is to put it in a Bitcoin wallet account.
Oh my gosh.
Now, Sharon, when I tell you this person is as analytical and methodical and probably more so than me, they are. They painted this picture so real that this person did this, went to the bank, withdrew the $30,000. The only place in his area he could go put it in a Bitcoin wallet account was at a convenience store in this particular town. And then he tells me that he's sitting on the floor feeding $100 bills into this ATM, into this particular Bitcoin account that they have helped him establish. All right. Seems kind of funny to us, but I mean, again, they had painted the picture well enough. All right. Puts the money in there. Wakes up the next morning. Guess what? Another $40,000 transaction is shown coming out. Calls the guy. The only thing we can do, take the money out in cash to put it in your Bitcoin account. Does it again. No red flags.
I would already called the police by now.
Well, we think we would, but this person, like I said, I would never have expected it. Does it 3 times to the tune of $90-some thousand. Wakes up the next morning and his daughter is there with this person. What's going on? He finally elaborates to the daughter what's going on. She said, this sounds weird. This doesn't sound right. Calls the guy, the daughter's on the phone. She starts asking questions. Then they immediately reach out to me. I said, guys, this is not right. This is no. You need to pick up the phone and call the local branch of the bank and see what's going on. The local branch of the bank didn't see that transaction coming out. And they're like, we don't see anything. Sharon, when they put that on his computer, when he logged in to his supposed account, it was like a mirror, and they were showing it on his computer.
No kidding.
No kidding.
So it truly hadn't come out, but then he goes and takes it out and does it himself.
Yes. And because the money did not come out, and because he took the money out himself.
Do one thing about it.
Not one thing about it.
So he lost $90,000.
Lost $90-some thousand. I mean, again, this is of extreme importance for people to know about. And that's just one example. I'm going to give another example in a little while of someone, again, did something that I was very surprised that it's the RNA, sharp, analytical. This person is in their 40s, whereas the other person was a little more seasoned, but it doesn't matter.
No.
Still got taken advantage of. Now, fortunately, that $90,000 is not going to make a difference in this particular person's retirement or lifestyle.
$90,000 is $90,000.
$90,000 is $90,000. Exactly.
Are you a resident or CRNA looking to transition into independent practice? The AANA and Beyond the Mask are here to help you thrive as your own boss. Introducing the 1099 CRNA Institute, taught by Beyond the Mask host Jeremy Stanley and Sharon Pierce. This comprehensive educational series provides detailed guidance on business structure, legal and tax implications, and financial management tailored specifically for 1099 CRNAs. Enroll now and earn valuable continuing education credits as you chart a new course in your rewarding career. Visit aana.com/1099 to learn more and take the first step toward your new future. Remember, that's aana.com/1099 or click the link in the description of today's show. The 1099 CRNA Institute. Thrive as your own boss.
I mean, it's bad enough. I remember I was playing in the stock market, trading options and crap, and I lost about $30,000 based on my stupidity. That hurt bad enough. I can't imagine $90,000.
Within a short time period, too. Strange email addresses or sender names, it might say PayPal support, but look up at that email address where it came from, because a lot of times people won't look at it.
I've seen misspellings, crazy punctuation, apostrophe marks in the wrong place, quotation marks in the wrong place, just really different looking. But, your brain can see something and it looks right to you. For instance, a couple weeks ago, our producer put out one of our pictures for announcing a new podcast. And when I saw it, there was a misspelling in it. And I text our producer and he looks at it and he said, I had to look at it 3 times before I saw what you saw, because your brain will make you see what you think you're seeing. I mean, it's just like pulling in front of a car and you looked and you didn't see it and the car had to be there.
Yeah.
So I can see how people can look at it and wouldn't recognize it initially.
Especially as busy as we are, as many emails as we get, we want to act on it and keep going and keep going. But the first thing is to trust your instincts. If something doesn't sound right, feel right, verify it. If you got an unexpected request from someone, don't act on it. Think about it. If it says, please confirm your social security number, your bank routing number, your password, that is a major red flag. No organization that is legitimate is ever going to ask you for that. And, urgent messages, it's another one from law enforcement. Scam. If they really need you, they're going to show up at your house and take you, that's just the way it is. They're not going to do that. So, a lot of these things are fake, this is a big one on social media. Everybody wants to be liked, but if you don't know someone and they send you a friend request, don't accept it.
I get half a dozen almost every single day and they're always male. I never get them from females. I don't know what that means. And I have no friends in common. And I just see them. I get about half dozen every day.
Yeah, I get them too. A lot of times because CRNAs know me, I'll get CRNA friend requests, but I look to see.
Wait. Now, are yours that have no common friends, are they female or male?
95% are female.
Wow. Isn't that funny?
I do get a few males.
They're doing that on purpose.
I'm sure they are. They know what to look for. So, just all these red flags that we wanted to talk about, just pay attention. In this technological time, we have to, because we can be taken advantage of really, really easy.
So, what are some technological guardrails that we can put in place for this outside of your gut instinct and delete, delete, delete?
We're at a point that I think everyone should consider some sort of fraud protection services. I mean, whether that's full financial monitoring, not just your bank, your investments, retirement accounts, credit cards, that is very, very important. How do you do that? I mean, we have so many things, Sharon. You're so busy. I mean, think about you. We do Beyond the Mask. We've got the 1099 Institute. You've got your own business running anesthesia. There for a while, you're taking care of your mother-in-law as well, which is a full-time job. You're traveling back and forth to see your granddaughter. You have the nurse, what's it called?
The Commission for Nurse Reimbursement.
Commission for Nurse Reimbursement that you got. You're involved at the ANA level, involved in NCANA, you're speaking. You're busy,
I'm the treasurer for my political party in the county.
right?
Who would have ever thought I would do that?
Yeah, really.
The
You
treasurer.
definitely need to monitor.
I need somebody.
But you need to use some sort of technology to monitor that and get alerts. If something doesn't look right, it can send you an alert, and maybe, especially if you're more seasoned out there, let trusted family or your advisors get those alerts, whoever, maybe your accountant, your CPA that you're working with. You don't want to give them full control of your money, but maybe they get an alert too. And then you can talk about it with your son or your daughter or your advisor or whoever out there.
Ears had me do this with my credit card. So every charge, I get an alert as soon as every charge that goes through. And I had a credit card in my luggage when we got robbed in San Francisco, and I had forgotten it was in there. And all of a sudden, I get an alert that $458 were spent at Marshall's within an hour of my luggage being taken. And then I realized, oh my gosh, that credit card was in there. And I wouldn't have thought about it. No telling, it would have gone on for a month, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Mike Pierce is the one who taught me to do that. So all my credit cards, I get an alert as soon as any charge goes through.
Hey, some of our listeners out there don't want to do that because they're using that credit card like water. So
Well,
you get
I
like a
do
million
that
alerts
too,
a day.
Jeremy. I do that too, but it just comes through real quick. And of course, I'm with Citibank, and they have incredible fraud alert within their division. And if there's a charge that comes through, they'll stop the credit card and they'll call you and say, did you authorize this?
Yeah.
I've had to have change credit cards 4 or 5 times, and it's stuff that they have caught even before it comes through. I find them to be excellent at their fraud alerts.
You need credit bureau coverage. People can apply for your credit out there. I actually have a credit freeze on my credit right now because I don't get a lot of credit. I don't use a lot of credit, but you can freeze your credit at the 3 monitoring institutions. Dark web alerts. I mean, Sharon, you'd be surprised at how many of your passwords and your social security number and all that's out on the dark web and basically for sale for scammers out there to utilize. Monitoring for that is important. Some people own a lot of real estate. You can actually monitor real estate holdings to see if anybody's trying to take title or change anything on that. Email, all these things that need to be looked at. And there is a company called EverSafe out there, and I'm not getting any endorsement here. It's just one that I'm familiar with. Whereas they do all this for you. They will monitor this. They'll send you alerts, and obviously there's tiers of this, but it's not that expensive. I think their lowest plan is less than $100 a year, and their highest plan is like $200 some dollars a year. But you can send alerts to your family members, to your advisors, anything that happens in your financial world, it alerts you. And people say, do I really need to pay for this? I'm pretty savvy, I'm smart. But that confidence that you might have can be extremely dangerous because one time of something happening to you can literally mean thousands of dollars. And for some people, it can mean almost $100,000, as we already talked about. And the mindset of it'll never happen to me. I'm telling you, I have seen it so many times this year that it's happened to them. And I'm going to give you one more quick example. And this has happened twice this year where I've had a client call me and say, "Hey, I got scammed." "What scam? What'd you do?" "Smart people." Well, they opened a online account to trade digital
Yeah.
currencies, either Bitcoin or Ether or something. And one guy, he started out and he put 20 grand in the account. He turned it and he's like, "I doubled it. I was at 40." He said, "And then I put some more money in the account." He's like, "You know what? It doubled again. I was at 80." So I got it up to $400,000 in the balance. He said, and I had about 200 and some thousand in it. He said, "I was doubling all this money." And he said, and then, I went to try to take some out and they were like, "Well, you can only take it out if, you leave X amount in there. And in order to do that, you got to put another 20 in to get 50 out."
That would have been my,
Red flag,
yeah.
red flag. So basically, he was out 200 and some $1,000. They had scammed him. This was a not real platform that he was in, and they took the money. Smart 40-something-year-old CRNA
Oh my
got
God.
scammed.
So
Got
what else
scammed.
can you do outside of EverSafe? What if I am this CRNA that just got scammed? What do I do now besides cry?
Well, you got to contact. I would contact law enforcement for sure. That is something to make sure and report it. But the likelihood of ever getting that money back is probably slim to none. I think that the first thing is to not make the mistake, especially in today's environment. But yeah, contact law enforcement at your state or wherever you're at. Let them walk you through what can be done legally, and the majority of it's probably not ever going to be given back.
Many, many years ago, whenever my kids were in college, they had prepaid Visa cards and it would automatically load a certain amount of money at the beginning of each month for each of them. All of a sudden, I saw that there had been more cards ordered and was sent to some place up north. I called law enforcement. I called the bank. Actually, and it was preloaded with money, which came from my account. But luckily, whenever I called the bank, they brought in people, I assume federal people, and they actually monitored the mailbox where it was supposed to be delivered, etc. And I was able to retrieve all my money back. And it was only, a few $1,000s, but for some people, they don't have that money in their account that they can suffer that loss. I got it back. It took months. What we think happened is a friend of my daughter's had come and stayed at the house over Thanksgiving, and they think that they got into my computer while they were at the house.
Oh,
Because then you didn't put passwords on your computers, and they think they got into my personal accounts and did that. It wasn't a fraud person outside. It actually occurred in my own home.
well, and I think again, Sharon, you're kind of going into the points here. First thing is to act quickly. I mean, as fast as you figure it out, you got to act. Contact the bank, financial institutions, freeze your accounts, notify the credit bureaus, place fraud alerts on your account. You can do that with the credit bureaus. Freeze your credit. Like I said, call the authorities. You can also call the FTC. And if there are regulators or agencies that, are regulating whatever you're doing, you can contact them. Document everything you can. Dates, names, screenshots. I'm fanatical about that. When I talk to
You're
somebody, I ask,
fanatical about anything about money, Jeremy.
"What's your name? Is there a direct extension? Do you have a phone number? Name, date, time, what we talked about." I write it down. And just some things to be aware of, and so forth. We want people to understand that this is happening out there. It's happening to your friends, your family. It's happening in your community. The CRNA folks out there, they're extremely bright and smart. It's happening.
Well, after I saw that show Zero Day, where
Oh, yeah.
there was a cyber attack and you had to have cash, and this just came up in my mind just a couple of weeks ago because I don't keep cash. I just never have, even though, my father used to keep thousands and thousands of dollars in his gun safe
Yeah.
all the time. But that was the mindset from that era. But it kind of wigged me out about the whole 0 day thing. So I went and I got several $1,000s, put it in the safe at home, totally forgot about it. And I'm driving
Oh
home a
God,
few weeks ago. I come
that's
in, I said,
dumb.
Pierce, I got several dollars in the safe, and I totally forgot that I had it in there. It's in there with my jewelry. I guess I can pawn my jewelry.
Well, now everything's out of there. It's not in there for the listeners that might be listening and think
That's
Sharon has
right.
something. She has nothing there. They've moved
The
all that.
safety
So
deposit box one, because I can still take my keys and go to the bank. Just as long as the cybersecurity don't lock all the doors in the vaults, I can still get in.
and we could take this in so many ways right now. This is why people are scared to death of digital currencies and especially government-backed stable coins. We could do a whole podcast on that, but this is the reason people are scared of that. So,
Mhm. So in closing, Jeremy, what would you like to leave our listeners with?
well, I think the key is it's not a matter of if you're going to encounter a scam or your family is. It's just a matter of when. Be aware, be vigilant, watch for flags. I mean, we've talked about that. Things that don't feel right, requests that just don't seem right. Strengthen some of the defenses you might have. Use multi-factor authentication, strong passwords, limited personal exposure of your information. Use fraud tools, monitoring, credit monitoring your transactions. Talk to people about this. This is important, especially those that are a little more vulnerable or don't understand technology, maybe your parents, your grandparents. Let them know these things. Tell them examples of stories where very smart people have been taken advantage of. And if you do get attacked, respond quickly, freeze those accounts, contact the institutions, report the fraud. Digital currency as we move forward is going to be more prevalent than ever. We know that's coming. Digital security is important, and you've got to think of that as really a form of self-defense. You don't have to be paranoid, but a little bit of caution can go a long way. And really, Sharon, that's what I'd like to leave our listeners with today. Just be careful out there. We're all living in this digital world. CRNAs especially have been blessed with an income stream that is absolutely amazing, that a lot of CRNAs never thought they would have. They built an asset nest egg of money they never thought they would have been able to do. And you've had a pretty good life. What we don't want to see happen is that as you age and get a little more seasoned, someone take advantage of you and your family and leave you in a situation that you hadn't planned for that's detrimental to your financial future. So that's it.
And with that, I think it's a wrap. Thank you for joining us on Beyond the Mask, Jeremy Stanley. It's always a pleasure to have you.
Always good to be here, Sharon. I'm sure I'll be back soon.
I'm sure you will.
Thank you for tuning in to Beyond the Mask. If you enjoy the show and want to help us grow, the best way to support us is simple. Leave a review on your favorite podcast platform, share the show on social media, and tell your friends. Your word of mouth is what keeps us going strong. We're proud to consistently rank in the top 50 medical podcasts nationwide and to be #1 in the CRNA community. All thanks to listeners like you. Your support helps us stay there, and we couldn't do it without you. We'll see you on the next Beyond the Mask. If you'd like to hear Sharon speak live, now's your chance. She'll be presenting at the 53rd Annual Refresher Course for Nurse Anesthetists, hosted by the Frank Moya Continuing Education Programs. Join her this fall with other experts November 14th through the 16th at the Hilton Hotel in Walt Disney World Village, Florida. It's a weekend of learning, networking, and a little bit of magic. Check out the link in the show notes for more info and registration details.